Greetings, 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 greetings. We're now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian on, not to control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the vault, episode 382. Who is your mentor? Definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Trust Christian on, not to control everything. Really wanted to do this episode today because we got a phone call today from one of the mentors saying, the knowledge that you have gets you in certain rooms. Sometimes people think, oh, they're on this whole bandwagon of generational wealth. Oh, I'm going to get generational wealth. I'm going to build generational wealth. And they think all they got to do is get the money because they're chasing money. But what they're not chasing is the knowledge. You're not chasing the mentors. So we wanted to talk about that today at the Vault because this conversation that we're having with the public, people think, oh man, if I just make more money, I'm not locked out of information. You're locked out of financial information if you're not making $250,000 a year. That's the bottom line, period. That might be a hard reality for people to face because they're not going to get their weight up. They're not going to get their bands up. They're not going to get the income level that is necessary. They're not going to get the skill sets that is necessary to get the information that they need to pass along generational wealth. So everybody you see online that's telling you that you can get generational wealth, how can you get generational wealth when you're locked out of financial information? The phone call we got today, they asked you a specific question in the interview. And if you didn't answer that question right, you weren't getting into the second room. Bottom line. So they come to the vault, they say, oh, I want to do trustee training. They don't understand. Trustee training is priceless. Trustee training puts you in a position where you get the information. You get the proprietary process. You get the information so you can get into the rooms. It's not always just based off of your money. It's based off of the information that you have. That's how you get in the room. That's how you can answer the questions properly. People want to know, oh, should I get to the workshop? Why wouldn't you get to the workshop? That's how you increase your knowledge base. You got to get around the mentors. Oh, Trust Christian of all, you've been mentoring me for years, sitting here through the YouTube channel. And at what point are you going to pay price to action? As one of the mentors says. Who is your mentor? At the Vault, we've had mentors since we've been 18 years old. Bottom line, true business mentors. People that were successful in business and beyond. You got to pay for those relationships. Nothing's free. There's no free lunch when you're looking to get wealthy. You got to make sacrifices. You got to make the sacrifice. You got to make it a point to go where your mentors are at. You got to make it a point to invest in the relationship. You got to always be looking out for them. Appreciate Delaware for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate Delaware for tuning in live, listening to replay. People say, oh man, should I get to the workshop? Why wouldn't you get to the workshop? The people that you say you want to be like, oh, I want to day trade, or I want to trade like trading partner Cornell. He's at the workshop. But you want to just go and get the cheap information. Take the easy way out. But then people want to say they want to build generational wealth. You don't build generational wealth unless you're investing in yourself. It takes a sacrifice. You might not go to family cookouts for a while. Why? Because you're building generational wealth. It's not the norm anymore. You're in the 1%. You got to look at everybody around you as abnormal. It's 99% or 98%, and you're in the 2%. Go look at the Bureau of Labor statistics. The Bureau of Labor statistics tells you that 98%, or let's just go ahead and be generous today, 90% of the people that you are around, look at them, talk to them, they're not going to retire in financial dignity. That means they're not going to be able to support themselves. Why do you think people downsize when they get to the age of retirement? Because they didn't save enough money. They were going on vacations. They were going to family barbecues. We've had mentors since 18 years old talk to us about that. Our mentors told us stay debt free, trust Christian and Vault. You think that was easy? Stay debt free. Don't get credit cards. Oh man, trust Christian, what do you mean? That's countercultural. For who? Wealthy people or poor people? People that are going to barely retire on the money that they put into the retirement account. Are you going to save $1 million in 30 years? You can't even live off $1 million. You got to deal with inflation. Y'all talking about inflation in gas right now? What do you think it's going to be in 30 years? You think that a gallon of milk was $3 or $4 30 years ago? So what happens when you get 60 and 70? Is a gallon of milk going to be $3 or $4? No. You think it's expensive now. The mentors have prepared us for this. The mentor said, stay debt free. Save. They said, make sure that you're investing in your private education at all costs. Make sure that you're investing in relationships that are in better positions than you are. That's what the mentor said to do. And that's what we did. But we got a phone call today. And the phone call was from a very elite group. And they asked a few questions and said, if you're not making a certain amount of money, you're not going to be allowed into the next room. That's the bottom line. You're not going to be allowed into the next room until you invest in your education, get your money or get your business into the position that says you qualify. People think that they got a fighting chance because they're going to go get in real estate. They think they got a fighting chance because, oh, I'm going to go and learn how to trade. Yeah, you can learn how to trade. You're going to get some quick money. But what about the relationships? How many people invested in trading partner Cornell to meet him at the workshop that we have in Atlanta coming up? He's just going to do the online virtual stuff. Because it's easy. The workshop that we actually talking about with the wealthy elite, they got a virtual aspect, but we know where we need to be. Well, you need to be in a room with them. They need to see your face. You're not going to do the private family workshop that they talking about in no virtual office. They're not doing no virtual meetings. One part of the meeting is virtual, but the other part, the second part, is private. It's made for you if you got a certain amount of money. That's how you know you locked out of financial information. It's clear right there in front of your face. What the mentors say. Stay focused on your business. Make the sacrifices in your 20s. Make the sacrifices in your 30s. There's always going to be more barbecues. There's a difference between you going to their barbecues in their backyard when they're mortgaging their house and them coming to your barbecue or your catered meal on the yacht, if they can even make it there. That's the difference. Everybody's dream level is different. Everybody's goal level is different. No doubt about it. But what about you? Is that the life you're looking to live? The mentors, you got to travel to the mentors. You got to invest in your education, the relationships. We can't say it too much. Because what? That's the difference between the vault talking about what we talking about over the internet and everybody else promising you you're going to get generational wealthy off of some daggone real estate. Telling you you're going to get wealthy off real estate. They telling you you're going to get wealthy off of just trading. It don't work that way. You got to build relationships with the lawyers, with the accountants. Everybody can't deal with the private trust. So you got to go build the relationships with the private lawyers, with the private accountants. They're not advertising on the internet. They're in private rooms. That's the difference. The vault's been a resource to many a people. It's been a mentor to many a people. But it comes down to you investing in your education. It comes down to you investing in a relationship. The mentors don't care if you make it or not. They got their own challenges to deal with. The mentors want you to make it though. They're giving you all the information you need. They're giving you the tools that you need to succeed. They ask you the questions that you need to think about what you're endeavoring on. That's what the mentors do. The mentors are going to tell you to dream big. Because that's the only way you're going to get out of your situation. Everybody around you, 95%. Go look at the numbers, ladies and gentlemen. What's the average income in the United States? Men and women, the average. You think you're going to be generational wealthy dealing with average people? You think you're going to pass along wealth properly dealing with average people? It's interesting to see people think that they can just buy somebody's course online and think they're going to be generational wealthy. Not knowing that they got to invest in the relationships, not just the information. Appreciate Wyoming for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate Wyoming for tuning in live, listening to replay. One of the things that we think about that really makes a difference between who is your mentor. We walked into this year and we had one of the senior mentors say, I'm limiting my media source. I'm limiting who I listen to. Who do I listen to? Mentor said, I'm limiting who I listen to. I'm only listening to billionaires. You say, oh man, what's a billionaire, man? Because everybody talks about being a billionaire. They talk about being a multimillionaire. But what happened? Are most people really that? No, they're on paper wealth. They're net worth paper wealth. They're not liquid. Mentor said, I'm only limiting who I listen to this year to billionaires that actually have that cash. Not a lot of people you know that have the cash are on the Forbes list. If you got $1 billion cash, you're not on the Forbes list. It's private. Public wealth is on the Forbes list, not private. You think any of these guys that are on the Forbes list are richer than the Rockefellers? You think anybody that's on the Forbes list is richer than the Carnegie estate? You're kidding yourself. Why aren't they on the Forbes list? Because they understand the difference between public and private. That's what the mentors taught us. Public and private. Appreciate Waco, Texas for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate Waco, Texas for tuning in live, listening to replay. Mentor said, I'm only limiting who I'm limiting who I listen to this year. We took that one to heart. Because there's a lot of poor people on the internet telling you some stuff. And that's a hard reality to hear. Oh man, I'm going to go on the internet and I'm going to see because this guy's got the best marketing. Just Christian Vote, we don't need no marketing campaign over here. We got our results speaking for ourselves. We don't need no marketing campaign. Oh man, I'm going to do a marketing campaign. I'm going to do the flashy lights. You ain't seen Trust Christian's face in the vault on the public yet. But we do workshops, 4 rooms. Who's your mentor? Mentor said, I'm limiting who I listen to this year to billionaires. You say, wow, okay. There's not too many people you're going to be listening to. You're not even going to be entertaining many people. Right. And when we took that to heart, guess what? We got the invite already to the billionaire room. You're not getting invited to no billionaire room listening to some Joes on the internet telling you they're making millions of dollars through real estate. Are you serious? These guys telling you, man, oh, you're going to make money through Airbnb. Or you're going to make tons of money off of Uber. Or they telling you all this stuff. Toro, they telling you all this stuff. Oh, they're selling you a course through the internet. You think the mentors are selling a daggone course? You think the billionaires are selling you a course? Oh man, the true billionaires, not the ones that just want to talk to you about the fact that they're using paper wealth, they're using OPM. We're talking about the ones that are liquid, not OPM. You think a real person that's got any real money wants to say, oh man, I got other people's money? No, they want to say they got it in their own hands. Not begging other people at a bank. There's nothing wrong with that. But we talking about what the mentors talked to us about this year. When they said, make sure you're listening to the people that you want to be like. Cash, liquid. I said, okay. Mentor said those things. Mentor said, make some gutsy moves. We made some gutsy moves. They said, do some things that make you feel uncomfortable this year. Some bigger things. Sometimes, people investing in their education is an uncomfortable thing. But think about that. How are you uncomfortable investing in your private education? How are you uncomfortable with taking a risk on your education? That's how you know you're not going to make it. You're in the back of your mind, you know you're not going to make it. That's why you're not going to invest. But if you know that you're going to make it, you're going to invest in your education. Because you don't need the money, you need the information. Wealthy people buy information. That's what got us in those rooms this year. The information. Information that we know. The environments that you're in. Do you invest in the right environments? Are you going to the family cookhouse, or are you going to high-end 5-star restaurants? Are you staying at 5-star hotels, or are you going to the back-end wood hotels? These are the difference makers between who's your mentor and who's you're not. The mentors told us you rather go, don't spend no food, don't spend no money eating out, and go to a 5-star restaurant once a month. That's what the mentors told us. And we were willing to make the sacrifices. And that's why we getting the invites. That's the difference, Trust Christian involved, is you're not eating out. Fast food, rinky dink. You're taking the time to build up your capital so you can go eat the 5-star meals. White cloth. That's the difference. Where do you think money's at? You think it's at fast food? You want to buy those lines that, oh, you think wealthy people are really eating fast food? That's fine. Go ahead. That's propaganda. You don't even know how much of a stake these people got in this company. You don't know why they telling you to eat at all these fast food restaurants. They may have ownership in these companies and they telling you to eat there, but you want to sit there and say, oh man, the wealthy people are eating fast food. That's like saying wealthy people go sit in regular seats at the Super Bowl. They sit in box seats. They sit in a different type of price level seat. They ain't in the nosebleed. That's what the mentors told us. Mentors told us, guess what? You need to do what? You need to go eat at those higher end restaurants once a month. If you can go more, great. Because you got to pay the price to be generational wealthy. You think you're going to find the top people at a regular restaurant? The backwoods spot? That's hard to hear. But this is what the mentors told us this year. When we following the what you call advice. They say you gotta save. They say you gotta focus on business. Building multiple businesses. They didn't say live below your means, but they said don't live above them. That means not having credit cards. That means not having these outrageous personal debts. People got personal debt talking about they're going to be generational wealthy. If you got a personal debt on your name, you're not going to be generational wealthy. You're joking with yourself. You're lying to yourself. None of the mentors are utilizing credit cards in a personal name. That's why we're doing a workshop where you don't use the social. Because you don't need the social to build business credit. And business credit is always going to be bigger than, or always going to give you more credit than personal credit. So what's the purpose of building personal credit? Because you went to public school, because you got a public education, and you don't know that you're being locked out of information financially, because you're not making enough money, because you don't have the right education. It's not anybody's fault. It's not the school system's fault. It's not the government's fault. It's your fault. You got to take ownership. You got to take responsibility. It's your fault. And when you take responsibility, you say, oh wow, in order for me to get into these rooms, in order for me to get the right information for my family to have generational wealth, I got to invest in my education. I can't just be utilizing personal credit, because that's what the gurus tell me. I got to go out and do what? I got to invest in a private education. I got to invest in private workshops. I gotta go and find out the rooms that aren't trying to be out here on the internet selling people the glory hole. Oh man, everybody gonna be wealthy. There's no way it's gonna happen. I think this is funny. It's not gonna happen. Because if you're not making a certain amount of money, wealthy people are sitting in rooms and they don't let you in. Why did the mentor say, I'm only listening to billionaires this year? Because they're directing us in the right direction. They say, Trust Christian Vault, you can't listen to these guys over the internet that are peddling information. That's all they're doing is peddling their course. We don't need to peddle a course. We know the proprietary process and the information that we got at the vault. We don't need to peddle it. That's why we don't advertise. That's why we don't beg you to get into training. That's why you don't even hear us there and talk about the email every time. Because what? You either got the email in the description or you don't. It's Christian at trustchristian.com. That's it. People contact the vault all the time. Oh man, I need a mentor because the guy that sold me a trust or the guy that sold me some information, he's no longer around. But did you invest in the relationship now? Or you going to the baseball game? You going to the football game? You going to the basketball game? You going to the soccer game? You taking that vacation this year? We had a trustee last year in the trustee train. Said when the last time you went on vacation? They try to lie in the beginning and say, "Oh, I haven't been on a vacation in a long time." We say, you know what? Let's just think about that for a second. Now, no, don't play games. When was the last time you went on a vacation? And when they sat and they thought about it, because that's how you know it wasn't a good vacation. Because if it was a good vacation, you're going to remember in the first place. They try to act like they didn't remember when they went on vacation. You know it's a really good vacation when you remember it. But they didn't remember it. That's how you know it was lame. Because they're trying to escape their real life. The fact that they are living paycheck to paycheck. They're working paycheck to paycheck. That's the difference. It's up to you, the Vault listeners. People say, "Oh, I gotta know this, I gotta know that," and everybody says they want to build generational wealth. It's like the cup of tea a day, or it's the joke of the day. That's really what it is. It's a joke. You think you're gonna be generational wealthy by what? Do you even know how to build a team? Business is a team sport. You gotta have a senior board member. You gotta have a mentor. You gotta have that relationship lockstep and solid. You gotta have that all the way through. You're not gonna take a break from having a senior chairperson. Every major Fortune 500 has it. But you think you're gonna build generational wealth by not having a senior mentor? By not paying for that relationship? You think you're gonna just you eavesdrop on information over the internet for free? You gotta invest in a relationship. Whatever it takes. Flying to the mentor. You think it's cheap flying to the mentors? You think it's cheap booking the hotels? You think it's cheap? It's not cheap. Then how you gonna be generational wealthy and you're thinking like it's cheap? Oh man, I could just do it through the internet. I could just do it through the telephone. You can't. You gotta invest being there physically. Who's your mentor? We already know who most people's mentor is. 95%, they waiting for a handout. Mentor said, you gotta go out, get the information, and be around the right people. Good things will happen. You say, oh man, is it that simple? It's really just that simple. We had to minimize who we were listening to. We had to cut out the fat. Oh, I think I'm listening to this person because they're a millionaire. How are you talking about generational wealth and you're not even talking about the entities that pass it along properly? How you around people that's talking about generational wealth and they're not even in the right entities? You can't have those candid conversations that are structured. You can't have those conversations. Why? Because you didn't make enough money to even ask them how much money or how the money that they're dealing with is that the case? You think wealthy people don't ask each other how much money you're making on deals? They're sharing the information because they're wealthy. That's hard to hear though. It's hard to hear. We know it is. We know it's hard to hear. I can't believe it's that hard to hear. That's fine. That's fine. But you got to gut check yourself. And are you willing to put up and shut up? Are you willing to put out what you need to put out so you can get the lifestyle you want? We already know as we grow in this information at the vault, we already know it's not for everybody. Why? Because people going to barbecues. The vault, we ain't going to barbecues. We get paid to go to barbecues. When we go to the barbecues, it's a business meeting. We mean people for business, not personal. That's the difference. People haven't learned how to turn their lifestyle into a business yet. Then when we do the workshop, people say, oh man, I want to go, I want to go. But did you invest in your education? Did you invest in your business, not in your personal? But oh, no worries. 2022, oh, a lot of people going to be going on vacation. They ain't been on vacation maybe a year or two. Midsummer, they'll be on cruises. Midsummer, they'll be traveling. You'll see. And those are people, when they reach the age of 65 or 70, they'll be dependent on the government. Just like they got student forgiveness loan programs, they going to have even a bigger program for people that can't make it financially. Because Americans didn't save. A lot of them. And that's fine. But the mentor said make it a point to have excess amounts of cash so you can do deals. So you can maintain having buying power. That's the difference. We appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. This is The Vault, episode 382. Who is your mentor? We already know. Most people's mentor is some person over the internet. We're not knocking anybody over the internet. But what happens when you come to the workshops with The Vault? You actually get to meet the mentors. Not and stand next and shoulder to shoulder. Not sitting over with the gurus over the internet that they don't want to show you who they really are, how they live it. Because this is a lifestyle. Our mentors got mentors. Because that's how wealth's passed along. Wealth is passed along through mentorship. Information is passed along through mentorship. And we're just ever thankful for all of our mentors. If you ever listen to this, mentors, we appreciate you at the Vault. We sincerely do. Because without the mentors and our effort, we wouldn't be here. So we appreciate the mentors for serving us. And we're just going to go ahead and keep telling the people in the public, hey, look, you got to make some hard decisions. If you say you going private, if you say you private, you got to invest in your private education. Do you still need cable? That's the difference. Are you investing in the relationships? The private ones? Or are you trying to cut corners? We had to talk about it today because that phone call today meant a lot. It's probably one of the best pieces of news we got so far this year. Is that you finally got the call up through the ranks. And you found out that guess what? The families that got the money, they don't even want you to know the information. They're not sharing it. They're sharing it amongst themselves for a good reason. And we clearly got that phone call today that said it. We'll definitely do another workshop this year outside of the one in March. This one in particular is very valuable. We are giving out business credit manual for the businesses, so you know how to deal with that as far as in trust. So a lot of people have questions about building credit on the trust system and things of that nature, or even just in businesses and doing it without socials and stuff of that nature. So we always appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay, that take heed of that information. Ladies and gentlemen, it sincerely touches our heart because you just don't know that you don't know. And when you think people over the internet are trying to give you some real information, 90% of them aren't. And that's crazy. Because y'all say, oh man, Trust Christian Vault, I invested in people's programs and it wasn't legit. What do you think the Vault did? You think Trust Christian Vault didn't do that? We did. But that's the risk you got to take to become wealthy. First generation wealth, you're going to go through a lot of hiccups. And you think it's going to be easier for the second gen when you're raising them in the lap of luxury? Not at all. You're not. You're not doing them a service by giving them the lap of luxury. You got to show them that people are trying to steal your wealth. You think you won't steal a wealthy person's money if you had the opportunity? We'll see. Just like you want to steal the information for free or get it dirt cheap when these people have earned it. Blood, sweat, and tears. That's why the information is not shared. Because somebody put in some blood, sweat, and tears, and the people that honor that, they don't want to be bothered. Accredited investor status, you're making $250,000 a year. You might think that's a lot of money. It's not a lot of money, but it is enough to say, okay, you get into a certain realm of information now, and make sure you get into a position where, guess what, when you look to retire at 65, 70, you're actually going to make it. But you got to do what? You got to get the information first. You got to get the relationships first. You got to invest. They don't want to tell you to invest. They want to tell you to spend in the public. Oh, spend your money on this course. Spend your money on that course. Where's the real collaborative effort? See, they're not your mentors. They're your salesmen. Your local snake oil salesman. That's what they are. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Feel free to reach out, Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, it's Christian at trustchristian.com. Look forward to hearing from you all. Peace and joy.